Hi, welcome to another complex numbers video. This is all about completing the square. Completing the square is a process in mathematics that turns an expression into an expression with a perfect square. Right, we've got two examples we're going to chat about in this video. The first one is about rearranging one form into another, and the second one's about solving an equation. So let's get going with example one. Write the following expression in the form of y is equal to a times x plus or minus some number d all squared plus or minus some number e. And it's this part of the expression that is the perfect square. Now what we have been given is a quadratic in the expanded form where we have y is equal to some number times x squared plus or minus some number times x plus or minus some constant. So let's show you how we rearrange it. So let's start with our y equal to 2x squared plus 12x minus 24. And the first thing we're going to do, we don't want anything out the front of the x squared. So we've got to divide everything by 2. So everything on the right gets divided by 2, and we have to also divide the y by 2. All right, well, the next bit is we're going to add 9 to both sides of the equation. Now, why did we add 9? Here's the magic thing about turning something into perfect square form. We take the value of b and we halve it, and then we square it. So b is this number that is being multiplied by the x, the coefficient of x, which is 6. So we take 6 and we halve it, which is 3, and then we square it. 3 squared is 9. That's why we add 9 to both sides. Now, because of this trick we've just done, we can now take this part of the equation and factorize it into x plus 3 times x plus 3, which can then be written in the perfect square form, x plus 3 all squared. Now, all we need to do is start undoing everything. So because we added 9 to both sides of the equation, we can now subtract 9 again. So let's subtract 9 of both sides. On the left-hand side, that leaves us with y over 2. And on the right-hand side, we have x plus 3 all squared minus 21, because we had minus 12 minus 9, which makes minus 21. And the last thing to do, because we divided by 2 at the start, we have to go back and times everything by 2, so we're left with just y by itself. So we end up with y is equal to 2 lots of x plus 3 all squared minus 42. And that's the form we're looking for. All right, move on to example 2. Let's solve an equation by completing the square. There are other ways to solve this quadratic, but we're going to solve it with this technique. So 2x squared plus 12x minus 24 equal to 0. Well, again, the first trick is to get rid of the 2, the coefficient of x squared. So everything's going to be divided by 2. So everything on the left's divided by 2, but we also must divide the 0 by 2. But 0 divided by 2 is just 0. Now we're going to add 9 to both sides. Remember why we added 9, because that's the value of b halved. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9, so that's why we add 9 to both sides. Then we can take this part of the equation and factorize it and turn it into our perfect square of x plus 3 all squared. So we're left with x plus 3 all squared, take away 12, is equal to 9. Now, we're going to add 12 to both sides because that gets rid of the minus 12. So we're left with x plus 3 all squared on the left, and 9 plus 12 makes 21 on the right. Now, how do we solve it from here? To get rid of the square, we have to take the square root of both sides. So if we square root both sides, we're left with x plus 3 on the left and the square root of 21 on the right. But remember, when we square root something, we end up with a positive and a negative. There are 2 solutions to every quadratic. Now, if we subtract 3 on both sides to get rid of the plus 3, we're left with x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 21, take away 3. And to find our 2 solutions, here's what we do. Our first solution, we go square root of 21 minus 3. That's the positive square root of 21 minus 3. That gives us 1.58. And then to get the second solution, we go the negative square root of 21 minus 3, and our second solution is negative 7.58. Both have been rounded to 2 decimal places. Right.